Good morning. How are you doing? I'm considering going to YouTube next week. I will share it here, but I might go to YouTube because I have followers on YouTube as well. They seek me here, they seek me there, they seek me everywhere. Good morning. It's Wellness Coach Janette, and I'm here with you around 10 o'clock each weekday morning to talk about a variety of wellness topics. Wellness topics may not just always be breathing affirmations and things that you associate with wellness. It might not always be that. It may be tackling everyday topics and subjects and just everyday living things to improve our everyday living skills. So at the moment, we're talking about money, 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 money. That, as they say, makes the world go round. Well, for some. Today I'm talking about intentional spending and emotional spending. And so I'd like us to have a pause break and to begin thinking about what our spending habits are. You see, wellness is about feeling well. It's about feeling better. It's about feeling more relaxed, happier, calmer, and more peaceful. But the same way that you could spend as long as you like on the treadmill, but if you eat a packet of biscuits, you'll never lose any weight. Wellness is kind of like, it is hampered by some of the habits that we may bring into the wellness session. So I want to work with you today to look at tackling some of the habits that we may be bringing with us. And the habit I'm talking about today is emotional spending. So I want to highlight what that is. I want us to think about our spending habits, and I want us to move away because so many of us do spend for emotional reasons. So I'm going to deep dive into that a little bit more this morning. Let's talk about emotional spending. To begin, let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly, okay? Have you ever bought something and later wondered, why did I even buy that? Why? You've looked at it and you've thought, why did I spend my money on that? That is the difference between emotional and intentional spending. That's all the difference. What is emotional spending? Emotional spending is spending when your spending is based on your feelings and not your needs. It's spending based on your impulses, not your plans. Common triggers for emotional spending are stress, boredom, sadness, and reward. You tell yourself, I deserve this. And so you grab it. Emotional spending feels good in the moment, but often brings regret with it later. Should I have done that? Look what I've done. Where am I going to put it? I've already got something that does the same job. Oh, I don't need this. Another one. It can bring a tremendous sense of regret, taken away from your bigger goals. I'm planning to go on a holiday and I've gone and spent some of the money on this. This has nothing to do with my actual goal. It's actually pushing me away from it rather than moving me closer to it. Emotional spending. What is intentional spending? This is the kind of spending we want. Intentional. Intentional spending is you pausing before you purchase. It's an evaluation. It's you thinking, do I need this? What's the purpose of it? Do I have something that does this job? Is this going to be helpful to me? Do I have the space for it? Is this practical? It's you choosing with a purpose. What does it look like? It looks like planning a purchase beforehand. It looks like doing a little bit of research and deciding what type of thing you need, where you're going to put it, how you're going to use it, and how it's going to benefit you in the long term. It's aligning your spending with your priorities. It's recognizing that, okay, then I've bought this bikini, but the good thing is I'm going on holiday. It was on a reduction. It might be winter outside, but in my heart, I'm thinking Hawaii, and I've got a bikini that's going to be great when I get there. That's not bad spending. Even though you did it on an impulse, there is a lot of use that will happen behind it. And so it's become intentional. And I love that. It's spending in alignment with your priorities. It's feeling peace after spending, not feeling guilt. Intentional spending is not about restriction. I'm not talking about being frugal, being stingy, restricting yourself. It's about alignment. It's about aligning yourself with your future goals, with your aims and your dreams. And most of all, aligning with your budget. And I'm going to be talking budget tomorrow. Aligning with your budget. Here's the difference between emotional and intentional. Let me break it down. Emotional spending is reactive. It's a reaction. Intentional spending is thoughtful. It's considered. Emotional spending is driven by your feelings, whereas intentional spending is guided by your values. Emotional spending is temporary relief, feels good right now. However, intentional spending is long-term peace. Emotional spending is often regretted. However, intentional spending feels empowering. Yay, it feels good. Look what I've accomplished. Look what I've done. Look at this. This was worth it. Look at what my efforts have gained for me. That's intentional. One is reaction, emotional, and the other is a decision, intentional. Why do we fall into emotional spending? Well, before you start getting angry with yourself, you're thinking, oh, Janette, I do that. I'm an emotional spender. It's okay. After today, we can draw a line, take a little bit of control. And it is, by the way, okay to have an emotional spending budget. It's okay to have a little budget for emotional spending, for buying little things that you would like. It's okay to do that. It's all right to apportion a proportion of your income to treating yourself to something. But before you do that, you've got to have calculated what your income is, what your expenditure is, what your financial goals are, what your commitments are. And then you know where the gap is, and you can decide what proportion of your income can be used for impulse purchases. Why do we fall into it? Because of a lack of awareness. We're just not aware we're doing it. We do it like we're on autopilot. It's just something we're used to. We do it because it's easy access. We simply scroll, just scrolling through our phones and purchasing, going to online stores and purchasing. Very easy. Scroll, tap, pay. It's on its way. Why do we fall into emotional spending? Because we use it as a comfort. We have the comfort of sitting back and treating ourselves to something that we tell ourselves we deserve. We have the excitement, the thrill of receiving the message, just waiting for the sale to go through and to get the confirmation it's on its way. Now we've got a little bit of excitement, there's a little bit of suspense. It's coming, it's on its way. When's it going to come? When's the delivery? We have the connection maybe with the person who's going to deliver it. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You get your stuff. You have the suspense of opening it and wondering, is it going to meet my expectations? Then you open it and you say, okay, it does what it says on the tin. And then you put it down to one side, and it's possible that you might have to assemble it, put something together, and you think, well, maybe later. That's a sure sign that this is emotional, because you don't need it enough to need to put it together and use it now. When you buy something you need, there's no later about it. You need it. Why do we emotionally spend? Because we don't have a plan. Without a plan, you perish. You know, you need a plan. Okay. We definitely need a plan for our money. Somebody that was my pastor, I'll give him, Reverend Lesball was my pastor. And one day he said while I was at church that your money should be looked at as your soldiers. And why do I remember this? Maybe 20 years later, because it hit home for me. I recognized that, yes, the biblical narrative says your money is a defense. I didn't know that at the time. But he said your money should be like your soldiers going out. My money is my soldier. My money fights for me. It defends me. It protects me. If I have a problem that I can't solve, I might need to call somebody to resolve it. That's what my money is going to do. Without any money, I at times may be left feeling defenseless. And so that's why it's important that we have an awareness of emotional spending, so that we're not spending everything, but we're managing our spending. You see, sometimes it's not about spending money. Emotional spending isn't you spending money. Emotional spending is you managing your emotions. That's why you're doing it. and it's not the best way to manage them. How can you become more intentional? Intentional spending is what we want. You can pause and ask yourself the most important question in the spending world. Do I need this? That's the question you ask yourself. Do I actually need this? Or do I feel something? It's okay to feel something. Identify the feeling. What are you feeling? Are you buying this because you feel sad? Because it may not necessarily take away the feeling of sadness. Is this something that's going to benefit you in the long run? Do you need this? Is it in your budget? Is it in the budget you have for buying little things that make you feel a little happy, little treats for yourself? That's a nice thing. Number 2, put into place the 24-hour rule. Leave it in your basket for 24 hours. Let it sit there for 24 hours. Don't immediately impulse buy. Just wait for 24 hours. Give yourself a chance to think about this. Okay? Just wait and then reduce the impulse to immediately purchase. If after 24 hours you still see the use in it, you still see the practicality of it, then buy it. Name the emotion. What's the emotion you're feeling at the time of spending? You know, some people, when they're spending, they get the shakes. They get this feeling of excitement. You know, it's an addiction. They have an addiction to spending. They have an addiction to something that takes them away from their situation, their circumstances, that distracts them. What else could you do? Instead of doing that, what could you do to replace this habit? Because it's now a habit. What could you do instead of spending? Could you go for a walk? Could you message a friend? Just to distract yourself from that. Say, hey, how are you doing? Send them a little message. Could you write in your journal? Just begin to process your emotions in the journal. What could you do to break the cycle? Do you need to see a therapist or speak to somebody? It's a good idea. If you're habitually spending, replace the habit. Set a simple plan in place. Decide in advance about your spending. What is it that you're going to spend when you go out? Let's say you're going out to the main shopping area. How much are you going to spend? Make a plan and decide what matters most. What's the priority in terms of your spending? It helps. What does that give you? A sense of control. You are now in control. That's so important. I wonder which new habit or new practice could you start today to replace the mindless scrolling and spending? Which of these will you put into action? The word that you need to use today is intentional. Be intentional with your spending. Please repeat this closing affirmation after me. I am in control of my choices. I spend with intention, not emotion. I'm building habits that support my future. Well done. You see, you deserve more than temporary relief. You deserve peace, clarity, and control. Every time that you choose intention over impulse, you're building a stronger and wiser version of yourself. Well done, you. Peace, love, and light to you. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.